Welcome back to Grow to Eat. We want to talk about the hedging and shelter belts we're trying to establish along our long narrow plot. As you can see, in 2014 we had inherited these posts and rails from when it was used as a horse field, but they were all rotten and too far apart and they kept on collapsing. Once the summer was over, we realised how windy it was going to be from the north and northeast, and the trees we planted at the far end were going to take some time. So we decided to go across the back and down the left-hand side to start with, and think about some natural hedging. This is 5 years later. The trees are quite well established, though one or two still are slightly off true. The hedging is now well established. This side piece came along a couple of years later. We always have trouble keeping the grass out to let the hedge grow. This summer this grass got away from us. We've decided to try again and extend the hedge further up by starting off a trench which we've tipped the turf over. We've ordered a nice mix of hedging and dogwoods from Buckingham Nursery, who always do a good job. This is the packaging, and this is us trying to open it. Phew, the fight is over, and all that can go in the recycling. Inside, the bundles were wrapped in straw, taped up, and also string around each separate variety, so still a little bit more unpacking to do when we get up the garden. As the morning is getting on, we've decided that only half of it is possible today. Even though it's dry and sunny, it'll be lunchtime before we get most of it in. So we divided it up, and we're going to heel some of it into the vegetable garden. We're sticking a small tight hole. Luckily the ground is very soft, and keeping the bundles together so we can work out what's what later. They can sit here for a week or so. Even though it's December, you can see we've had some really lovely weather. It's dry and sunny and very clear, and in the background you can hear the children in the school, even though it's about a mile away. Behind us on this stretch you can see where we put a row of privet hedging about 3 years ago. The wind comes mostly from that direction, and we wanted to break it up a bit to protect the vegetable bed. It would have been thicker if we'd have double planted it, but we didn't want to stop all the air, otherwise you get certain diseases, etc. So this hedge is easy to maintain and does break up the wind. As the posts that remain rot off, they get taken out and used as firewood.
Well, they should be so. I've never had black ones before, but I thought we'd have a group of red and yellow and then a couple of black ones somewhere just for...
Black dogwood?
Yeah.
As well as planting the hedge, the black, red and yellow dogwood are to form round a sitting area underneath the trees. An extra job.
Will do, yeah. No more than 20.
So while my husband sets off to start work, I've gone to fetch a bucket of water. The roots we're going to put in today need to be soaked for 20 minutes before they're put in. So this is the remaining fence, and this is the area we are trying to reach to. The trench, as I said earlier, has been dug a couple of weeks ago and some manure put in. And we're hoping that we can keep on top of this lot and keep the grass down. We're going to plant them every 18 to 20 inches apart as recommended. So having got it all out and soaked, it's a bit soggy, but a small hole. Test that the roots will lay in there nicely. And then we'll add some of the fungo stuff. I forgot what it's called now, but it encourages root growth and it works really well, and highly recommend using it. You only need a small spoonful. This is a two-man job and we work quite well as a team. I hold it and my husband fills it in. First one done. Only another 30 more to do before lunch. Unfortunately, we only got to about number 28 before a big black cloud and some rain arrived. So 2 weeks later, I've come back to show you again. They're all in and cut back to about 18 inches to 2 feet high as recommended. We'll just have to keep an eye on them to the spring to make sure that they all root nicely and aren't eaten by the hare and deer that we're plagued with. Thank you for watching. We'll show you again how this hedge shelters us from the winds coming off the wash.